Welcome, everyone. This is the Jenkins Governance Board meeting. It's the 12th of May, 2025. Thanks for being here. We'll talk today about voting for Jenkins Awards. We'll review the action items, community activity. Actually, I'm out of date on that one, so we may have some discussion there. Governance topics. These are mostly summaries of various projects that are ongoing, including JFrog, cloud expenses, and and then software in the public interest. Are there any other topics that you want to be sure we address today beyond those?
No, not on my side.
Great.
Can I me?
Hello, Oleg.
Yeah, sorry, a bit late.
Thanks for being here. Much appreciated. That's great. All right. Well, so let's go ahead then. First, let's look at the upcoming calendar. So we've got a weekly release tomorrow. LTS coming at the end of May. Chris Stern is the release lead. Release candidates due this Wednesday, with final release 2 weeks from Wednesday. And in terms of upcoming major events, Open Source Summit North America is in June. Open Source Summit Europe is in August. By way of news items, voting is open for the 2025 Jenkins Awards. Thanks very much to Alyssa Tong and others for coordinating that. Please be sure you vote. Voting remains open until June the 9th. Oh no, June the 5th, my mistake. So voting closes June 5. Please be sure you vote. Action items. We've got open action items on attribution entries for the downloads page. No progress there. Unfortunately, no progress from me on the next three action, or on two of the action items. I still owe the Jenkins Project a Contributor Summit blog post and the quarterly CDF status report to CDF Technical Oversight. On reimbursements, I can report progress in that I proposed that we use the $3,134.93 available for another purpose. We'll talk about that later in the meeting. I'm not expecting Jan to submit a reimbursement request. As far as I can tell, he's not submitted a request based on my previous two reminders. I think we just assume the funds are available for other use. And I still owe more on defining sponsorship tiers. Any questions or comments on the action items? Okay, next topic then was community activity. And this one, the big news is that we've had a discussion inside various groups that are involved. We've had good feedback on the community plugin maintainers proposal, comments from all sorts of different people about attributes of the idea. The proposal is we'll do the first test drive using Java 25. That will require that we will sweep through all the plugins, and so we'll start with the highest value ones, the most popular ones, and work through there. We've got a proposal for a beta test team, and we think we'll start that sometime during the Northern Hemisphere summer. So think July, maybe August, so that we're ready when Java 25 releases in September of 2025 to have Jenkins support it. Still lots of things to be resolved, lots of open questions in terms of details and processes. Questions or concerns there, Valentin? I think I'd received comments from you on that one. And I know that others had reviewed it. Any concerns there?
No, not concern on my side, but we also have one GSOC project that was accepted for the plugin modernizer tool. And we will most likely try to prepare during the summer the recipe to migrate or try to migrate to JDK 2025.
Good, very good. And you are the mentor on you're the lead mentor on the plugin modernizer project, right?
Yes, correct, yeah. And we have also Philippe and Bruno and Sridhar as a mentor.
Great, very good, thank you. And so the concept there is you'll consider adding Java 25 migration as a part of Plugin Modernizer?
Yeah, it will be most likely one of the recipe. We still need to define what we need to do exactly. Of course, modifying the Jenkins file is one step. Is there other? I'm not sure yet.
Great.
But from what I know, also we'll probably need to upgrade some plugins or dependency that are not yet compatible with JDK 25, like the ASM and things like that.
Right.
Yeah. For me, the biggest risk for this proposal remains enabling it by default for all plugins. I think it's not a problem, at least for the current state, beta run, etc. It's definitely not a problem for any unmaintained plugins. But yeah, in the proposal, I think it would make sense to explicitly clarify the time for the maintainers to opt out since the announcement. But otherwise, yeah, in principle, this approach might work. So,
I'm not sure I understand that there's already
so
in the
basically,
proposal. Go ahead.
the proposal says that basically plugins are enrolled in the community maintainer program by default.
Right.
So as I interpret it, let's say Java 25 update happens, then we start submitting pull requests, and then let's say if a maintainer went on a vacation for a week or two, this pull request might be merged and released. Is it correct?
It is, right? So
Uh,
the period is 2 weeks right now, but yeah, it's proposed
mhm,
that unless you opt out, unless you intentionally choose
yeah.
not to, you're part of it, right?
Yeah, so what I would basically propose is giving maintainers a few months to decide whether they opt out or not, at least. It can be done in parallel with the current beta testing, so I don't think it would delay anything. But for me, the biggest potential problem is that there are some maintainers who do not actively check or go on vacation, on sick leave, on paternity leave, then discover that basically somebody was tinkering with their plugins without them knowing of or consenting about it.
Okay, but
Mhm.
isn't that the same condition we have today with adopt a plugin? If I submit an adoption request 2 weeks later, if they've not responded, I adopt it. So I'm not sure what you're hoping to gain by having a multi-month
Uh,
waiting
yeah,
period.
I believe for adopt a plugin, we firstly do the best possible effort to contact the maintainer, and only after that start the 2 weeks countdown, right?
No, it's
Not anymore.
they're mentioned they're mentioned in the pull
Mm-hmm.
request to repository permissions updater, and that is deemed sufficient, right? So
Okay.
if I at mention someone and they ignore that at mention for 2 weeks, adoption is allowed as far as I understand it. So Oleg, your concern is that
Mm-hmm.
go ahead, continue, Oleg.
Yeah, so if it's how it works with adopt a plugin now, yeah, I guess it's okay. Though, well, yeah. Again, I've missed quite a few years, so
And
uh,
I think also the use case is a bit different because when we adopt a plugin, we expect the new maintainer to also update perhaps the behavior of the plugin. But here we are just talking about modernization pull request, like modifying Jenkins file, updating dependency, and those kind of things. So I think it's a bit also different.
yeah, it's a bit different. Still, it might have some unexpected consequences for maintainers. Unfortunately, these days, not everyone updates to the recent Jenkins version. And let's say updating to Java 25 requires bumping Jenkins core version, which is quite likely. And it means that plugin maintainer may come back from vacation and realize that the current version of the plugin is no longer compatible with the Jenkins version he maintains internally at his company. So, well, for me, it's just a risk. And what I would propose is actually just giving more time to maintainers to opt out if they think so.
And I think I'm not sure how to address the more time to opt out without risking that we will delay this activity. But I'm open. It just if we say you have up to 4 weeks to opt out, I mean, as soon as they opt out, they've opted out, right? So, but if we say you've got 4 weeks to opt out, um, yeah,
Personally, I'm a big supporter of opt-in, but I understand the reasons why it has to be opt-out. Then I don't think that if we just send an email to the known maintainers, I think that it would be sufficient. And if we, let's say, do it in May, in June, by the time this proposal fully ready to go, I think it won't create a delay.
okay, so an email message to known maintainers, it's an interesting idea. Rather than relying on them reading GitHub notifications, specifically send the email message. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Well, GitHub notifications, they can be missed.
Yeah,
Well,
so
any
can
of us
email
receives
messages, so can text
dozens.
messages.
Mhm.
I'm confident I could do 5 different communication methods and have somebody miss every one of them. So,
Yeah.
but email message to known maintainers, stating that that the project is starting
Mhm.
in the future, um and they need to opt out if they don't want to be involved.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's if not interested. Okay, I mean, I think that's going to be an interesting exercise to extract email messages for the known maintainers, but I think I know how to do it given my permissions. I'm not sure anyone else has enough because it means reading accounts.jenkins.io email addresses, right? And
Exactly.
that's accounts admin function. So, but okay,
Mhm.
we certainly don't have to disclose those email addresses publicly with this, just through a private email message. Okay, interesting idea.
Well, it just makes it more secure in terms of people complaining.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Any other comments or concerns on the community plugin maintainers proposal? Okay, next topic then. So JFrog Artifact Storage Reduction Project, the storage portion of the reduction project has been immensely successful. We initially reduced the storage requirements to less than 4 terabytes. Now with the most recent remover, we're less than 3. And we're steady and staying under that. We've got scheduled a bandwidth reduction discussion with JFrog for Wednesday with Damien DePortal, the Jenkins infra officer, and me to understand further. It's not clear that without further steps, we could get the bandwidth below their 10 terabyte bandwidth limit. And that's what we're going to explore with them. Questions, comments? Okay, next topic then was cloud expenses. And here, the current situation is recent updates. So Microsoft Azure sponsorship had been scheduled to expire 31 May. They've granted us an extension of the credits. They will expire 31 August. That will let us use the remaining $28K, but they've also told us there won't be a new donation. So the 60K that we received last year won't have a matching 60K this year. We're very grateful to Microsoft for their sponsorship, and we understand they have to make their investment choice. AWS sponsorship doesn't end until the 31st of January, but we only have 36K remaining, which is about between 5 and 6 months of ci.jenkins.io hosting. So right now, ci.jenkins.io is running on Azure sponsorship. As this money runs out, it will switch back to AWS, and then we'll use AWS until this money runs out. We've asked AWS for an additional donation. We don't expect an answer from them until the end of May. The other sponsorships, CDF sponsorship continues solid. DigitalOcean sponsorship continues, and we're likely going to increase our usage. So we've made the move of ci.jenkins.io back to Azure. After sometime in the June period, we will, June or possibly early July, we'll make the move back to AWS as the Microsoft money runs out. And CDF has been notified that we're reducing our expenses to them short term because we want to be able to spend them later when funds may not be available from others. And we're going to do a meet with the sponsors at CDCon, at Open Source Summit North America. Any questions on the spending patterns or on the sponsorships? Okay, great. And you can read the other details there of each of the smaller ones. Those are the big ones. Software in the public interest. So we had about 9,000 in the SPI budget, SPI donated funds. We used 6,000 of it for the 2025 Jenkins Contributor Summit travel. That leaves us with 3,100. And I asked for, so we then said, hey, we'll try to use that other money for travel in 2026. I asked for that extension. They didn't give me an answer yet. In the meantime, the Oregon State University Open Source Lab shared that their funding put them in jeopardy. They needed $250,000 in committed funding in order to keep themselves open this year. So that caused us worries because we use OSU OSL for Jenkins mirroring. Because of that risk, we said, hey, we could, and thanks to OSU Foundation being a 501c3 nonprofit, I proposed to the board, let's, instead of waiting until March, let's donate the $3,100 to OSU OSL. 4 board members gave me a vote that said yes. And so I've started the discussions with SPI, but SPI says, hey, if the funds are earmarked specifically for benefit of the Jenkins project, we may not be allowed to donate them to SPI. So that's still being explored. So Alex, Valentin, thank you for your votes, yes. But I've got to do more investigating. Oleg, your question?
Yeah, maybe just about communication channels, because I sent a similar message to Jenkins governance board about whether we could dedicate the SPA funds. Did this message arrive to the Jenkins board?
I don't.
Because I definitely didn't receive a response from the board. I totally support this initiative, whomever started the discussion in Jenkins. I just want to make sure that the emails get delivered because today I sent another one.
Yeah, so let me double check, but I think that, okay, so I don't see, I see, yes, okay, yes, your message was received. My apologies, we did not respond to your message, but yes, I see it in the board mailing list, Oleg. So your message was received, yes.
Okay, just double checking. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So thank you. But sorry, I should have assured we gave you a response because absolutely that was the inspiration for then the discussion that happened amongst the board about, hey, does the board approve this donation? Good.
Yeah, I also secured some funds from another Jenkins sponsor, but yeah, I'm not sure whether they are ready to go public. So anyway,
Great.
it's good that one thing that there was already a message that they secured funds for this year.
Correct.
So which is definitely a win. Though they still need to find something for the next year in terms of for the current things, but it's definitely yet another story.
Right, right. And so that was their most recent post, May 9th, where they announced, hey, they've got funding for the the near term, and that's great. And then they've got to plan what they do for long-term funding. So their team is funded for the next year. Great. All right. Thank you. Anything else on the, so my working assumption right now is if SPI says, hey, those funds are not allowed to be used to be donated to OSU, OSL, okay, then they're not. We would then fall back and use them for March 2026 Contributor Summit travel. Any objections or concerns to that plan?
We still run Jenkins mirrors on OSOSL, right?
We do, I'm sorry, ask your question again. So we do have,
So we still have a Jenkins update portal mirror on.
oh, yes,
yeah.
we do. And that we've actually got to, we've realized as part of this that we want to continue running that because
Yeah.
that gives us, if we were to lose OSU OSL, it would reduce us from 3 mirrors in North America for Jenkins to only 1 mirror in North America. And so yes, we do want to continue them running. We've realized we have a little too strong a dependency on right now and on them in our build process, and we've got Jenkins infra tickets to reduce the level of dependency there just for the health of the project.
Yeah.
We still
I think-
want them as a mirror. We like them as a mirror. They do great for us.
Yeah. So I think it should be enough justification for SPI because we are basically putting in money to support our own mirror infrastructure. But
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
that's and it's the fingers crossed thing, trying to figure out the SPI's answer was, oh, could you have them send you an invoice? Invoicing is probably going to be complicated from one charitable organization to another, etc. So I've got to continue the negotiation. Anything else on the SPI funds? Any other topics that need to be discussed today? All right. Thanks everybody for being here. Much appreciated.